Hi everyone! Today we'll be doing a 20 minutes floor-based sequence. So it's just going to be a lot of gentle stretching and obviously just mat-based. So all you'll need is a mat and a blanket. And it's just a really good way to help to wind down after a long day. So let's begin. We'll start off lying on our backs, but we're going to use our blanket underneath the lower back and the hips today. Just making sure it's nice and comfortable underneath your hips. And then take the feet together, knees wide. Bringing the right hand over the belly, left hand over the heart space. Starting to use the hands to feel the breath moving in and out of the body. Noticing the quality of your breath today. Noticing the feeling in the belly and the chest as you start to lengthen the breath a little bit more into these places, creating space in these areas. Setting an intention for your practice today, dedicating just 20 minutes to resting, winding down. Gently start to bring the knees back together. You can hug the knees in towards the chest, rocking gently side to side for a moment, massaging into the lower back, into the sacrum. And just releasing through the hips for a little bit before we come into a glute and hip opener. Resting the left foot on the mat. Right heel, right ankle crosses over like a little figure of four shape. Flexing that top foot, and you can just use the strength in your legs to push the knee away, or use that right hand to gently guide that right knee away from the body. If that's not quite enough of a stretch for you, lift the left foot off the mat, and then starting to draw that left knee in towards the chest. Keeping that top foot flexed, keep pressing that right knee away. Keep the shoulders and the chest relaxed. You can just stay here focusing on that hip stretch, or start to draw little circles with the toes rolling out through the ankle, and then go in the opposite direction with the circles. Gently bringing that left foot back on the mat, arms wide, and then draw both knees over towards the left. Head looks towards the right hand, coming into this gentle twist. Noticing how the glutes, the buttocks feel a bit more tight here, maybe a bit of a deeper stretch. Start to breathe into that back body. And just staying in this twist might be enough for you today. Keeping the shoulders and the chest open. If you'd like to come into a deeper twist, start to extend that left leg along the mat, drawing the right knee a little further across your body towards the mat. Just twisting a little bit deeper into the lower back and into the spine. Stay longer if you need. Otherwise, we're going to roll over now onto our bellies, coming into a half frog. So keeping that right knee opened out towards the side, knee in line with the hip,
And the knee is at a 90 degrees, so the heel is underneath the knee as well. You can stay on your elbows or you're on your forearms, or you can just lie down, creating a little pillow with your hands resting the cheek onto your hands. If you can't quite feel that stretch through the inside of that groin, inside of the right thigh, try pressing that right hip bone into the ground towards your mat. It's just a gentle opening, so it shouldn't feel too tight here. Just rolling back around, lying onto our backs again. Hug both knees in, you could draw little circles with your knees. Preparing for the other side now. So this time, right foot touches down. Left heel, left ankle crosses over. And choose either to just use the strength in that left thigh to push the knee away, or use your left hand to guide it away from your body. Either stay here, feeling that stretch through the glutes, through the hips, or lifting the right foot off the mat as well. Maybe coming straight into your little ankle circles, releasing any tension there, especially after a long day of standing or walking or even running. Keep drawing that right knee down towards the chest, deepening the stretch a little bit more. The right foot touches down, and let's bring the legs over towards the right side this time. Left foot on the mat, head looking towards that left hand. Just feeling that gentle twist first, and that deepening of the stretch in the glutes and the buttocks. Notice how that feels, and maybe how it feels different to the other side. Remember, you can stay here if this feels good for your hips, for your lower back. Just starting to breathe into that lower back. Or you could start to come into that full supine twist, extending the right leg along the mat, guiding the left knee a little further across. Feel free to stay for a few more breaths here. And coming to flip onto our bellies, coming to a half frog on this side. Knee in line with the hip, heel in line with the knee. Either staying on forearms or creating that little pillow with your arms, with your hands, resting the cheek down. Tilting the pelvis, tilting the hips maybe up and down, noticing the change in that stretch in the hip, and then finding what works for you, what movements you need to make to feel that stretch in your groin. Flipping back over. Knees in towards the chest again, just resetting the spine and the lower back again now. Extending the legs along the mat, and we're going to flip back over onto our bellies. Coming into a bit of a back bend now. So you can choose to just come into your Sphinx Pose with the elbows underneath the shoulders. Palms pressing into the mat, forearms, elbows grounding into the mat. Making sure we're not sinking down to the shoulders. Try to press down into the forearms, scooping that chest forward and lifting it up towards the sky. You can look forward or gaze slightly down to neutralize through the neck. Notice how that feels for your lower back, and that might be more than enough. Or you can wriggle your fingers a little bit further forward and press down into the palms of the hands, deepening that back bend. If you're here, make sure you're squeezing through the buttocks, through the quads, protecting the lower back, stabilizing the muscles in the lower back. Keep breathing into the belly, into the chest. Okay, if you're not there already, come up onto the palms or your fingertips. I'm going to take it into a shoulder stretch now. Just wriggling that right hand back and then over towards the left side of the mat. Walk your left hand forward and then just dropping your head, your right ear, right cheek onto your mat. If your shoulders are quite tight, you might find that your head doesn't quite reach the mat. You can just rest it on your bicep, on your arm. Opening into that deltoid muscle in the shoulders. Relaxing the shoulders as much as you can. Allowing the body to just sink into the pose. If your palm was down, just flip it up now. And if it was up, flip it down. Notice how this small movement can change the feeling in your shoulder. It might not be a huge change, but just a tiny modification. And start to reverse your path, bringing that right arm back forward. And this time walk your left arm in and then across towards the other side. Left ear, left cheek on your shoulder or on the mat. Again, just allowing the shoulders to drop away from the ears. Letting the body melt into the mat. And feeling that release through the shoulders. Flipping the palm up if you haven't already. And again, just noticing the difference between that small movement and maybe even the difference between this side and the other side. Start to reverse your path, coming all the way back through center. This time bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under and coming back into child's pose. Either knees together or wide. Just arms out in front, dropping the head down on the mat, rocking gently side to side, massaging that third eye. Stretching back out through the arms and the shoulders. You can choose to just stay here in this child's pose. Otherwise, we're going to start to walk the hands back, interlace the fingers behind the back, letting the shoulders just round forward. And maybe just staying here, you can continue rocking your head side to side. We're going to lift the arms away from the body, up and maybe overhead. Maybe they don't quite come overhead. But stay here, maybe even gently swaying your arms side to side. Bit of a twist into the spine, into the thoracic spine. But stay here, maybe starting to lift the hips away from the heels. Keeping the head on the mat, just rocking forward and back along the crown of the head. Maybe even coming right up to the top of the head, massaging through the crown of the head here. Maybe letting your arms drop a little further overhead. It's just an option, you don't have to do it. Release the arms. Coming back through our tabletop. Making sure the knees are on your blanket, give your knees a bit of extra padding. You can just shake your hips side to side here, looking towards one heel and then the other, stretching out through the side waists. And start to draw some little circles with the hips now. Just going in small circles to begin, maybe getting bigger and bigger. Sit bones almost towards the heels. Feeling any kinks, any cracks in the hip joints. Letting the head relax, neck relax. And then take those circles in the opposite direction. Starting small to begin, and getting bigger and bigger. Hips towards the heels. Noticing that shift of weight in the hands. And come back through center again. Going through just a few rounds of our cat and cow. If you're familiar with this, just move with your own breath. Starting to open into the back body, into the spine. Inhale to spread the sit bones. Draw the lower belly down. Open the chest. And exhale to tuck the tailbone under, around the spine. Arch the upper back. Inhale to spread the sit bones. Long through the waist and the spine. Opening the throat. And exhale to round the upper back. Push away into the earth with the hands and look towards your belly. Just a few more rounds here. Noticing how the spine and the back are feeling today. Come back through center. Tuck the toes under. Just sitting back towards the heels for a moment. Rolling out through the wrists. Interlacing fingers, going in one direction and then the other. Maybe bringing the backs of the hands together, just taking a few sways, left, right with the hands, shake the hands out. Okay, from here we're going to start to come into another supported back bend. So this is just a very bit of a lighter back bend. So it's not going to be a really strong stretch, strong sensation here. So grabbing that blanket and rolling up really tight like a sushi roll. And then keeping the blanket, I've just turned it around so it doesn't roll out too easily. And we're going to bring the blanket underneath the lower ribs. So for ladies, it's almost the spot where the brow strap goes. And for men who might not be familiar with this sensation, just imagine if you were to wear a heart rate monitor and that strap is where that blanket would go. Making sure it's not digging into your ribs or into your lower back. Arms open, shoulders open. And keep your knees pointing towards the sky. Maybe bringing the knees to come together and feet as wide as your mat. Like a little teepee shape with the legs. So let the back body melt into the blanket. And extend your legs along the mat. Bringing a bit of extra weight now into the blanket. Just a gentle opening into the back, especially the thoracic spine, that upper back. Remembering that the stretch doesn't have to be strong to get the benefits. Especially as we move into more restorative or yin kind of poses, where we tend to hold the poses for longer. It's important that we don't overstretch. Still getting an opening in the shoulders and the chest, in that back body, in a supported variation of a back bend. Maybe noticing the rise and fall of the belly and chest a little bit more when the chest is propped up like this. We're going to move into a side stretch. So wriggle fingers and toes to bring movement back into the body. Now we're just simply rolling over onto our right side. You might like to shuffle your hips a little further back to give yourself some room, especially if your little sushi roll blanket is quite short. Keeping it underneath the ribs. So extending that right arm along the mat so you can rest your head on it like a pillow. You can bring your knees together. You should be feeling a bit of a stretch through that left side waist. Maybe a bit of a massage, a bit of a compression in that bottom waist. And then flip over onto the other side. Just keep adjusting until you find that position that feels good. And using your arm as a pillow. And just one more breath here. Feel free to stay longer. Eventually we're going to sit all the way up this time. Coming back into a comfortable seat. Hands in prayer in front of the heart center. One last deep breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Namaste.